Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Healing Space. I'm your host, Maya Soul. Today is a very special episode. We've reached the end of season 3, and before we move on to our next chapter, I wanted to spend some time reflecting on everything we've learned together. This season asked a question that many people have wrestled with for years. Why is it so hard for men and women to connect and understand each other? Over the past several episodes, we've explored communication, emotional needs, misunderstandings, dating, accountability, masculinity, femininity, and the fears that often exist beneath the surface. And if there's one thing I hope this season has taught us, it's this. Most people are not trying to hurt each other. Most people are trying to be understood. Think about that for a moment. Behind many arguments is a desire to be heard. Behind many disappointments is a desire to feel valued. Behind many frustrations is a desire to feel understood. And yet, so many relationships struggle because people are speaking from different experiences while expecting the same understanding. One of the biggest lessons from this season is that men and women often experience life differently, not because one side is right and the other side is wrong, but because life has shaped us differently. Different expectations, different fears, different wounds, different ways of processing emotions. And when we fail to recognize those differences, misunderstandings become easier. But when we become curious about those differences, connection becomes possible. We talked about how men and women can hear the same conversation and walk away with completely different meanings. We talked about what women often need that men may overlook. We talked about what men often need that women may not fully understand. We discussed why some men pull away and why some women overthink. We explored the communication gap, modern dating, accountability, and whether true understanding is possible. And perhaps the biggest takeaway is this: understanding someone doesn't require you to become them. You don't have to agree with every feeling. You don't have to share every experience. You don't have to think exactly alike. You simply have to be willing to listen, willing to learn, willing to consider that another person's reality may be different from your own. One thing I've learned through healing is that assumptions are often the enemy of connection. When we assume we know what someone means, we stop asking questions. When we assume we know someone's intentions, we stop being curious. When we assume our perspective is the only valid perspective, growth becomes impossible. Healthy relationships require curiosity. That means, help me understand. Tell me more. What was that like for you? Question create bridges. Assumption create walls. This season also taught us something important about fear. Behind many behaviors are fears we rarely discuss. The fear of rejection, the fear of abandonment, the fear of vulnerability, the fear of not being enough. Sometimes people aren't reacting to what's happening right now. They're reacting to wounds they haven't fully healed from. That doesn't excuse harmful behavior, but it helps us understand it. And understanding often creates compassion. As we prepare to close this season, I want to say something directly to the men listening. Thank you for being willing to engage in conversations that many men were never encouraged to have. Thank you for being willing to explore emotion healing, communication, and vulnerability. Your healing matters. Your voice matters. Your story matters. And to the women listening, thank you for being willing to look beyond assumption and seek understanding. Thank you for showing up for these conversations. Thank you for being open to growth, reflection, and healing. Your healing matters too. Your voice matters. Your story matters. And to everyone listening, regardless of your relationship, your gender, your age, or your experiences, the goal of healing is not perfection. The goal is awareness. The goal is growth. The goal is becoming healthier than we were yesterday. The people in your life are not mind readers. They don't know your fears unless you share them. They don't know your needs unless you communicate them. They don't know your wounds unless you're willing to talk about them. Because it's sometimes the greatest gift we can offer another person is not advice, not solutions, not judgments, but understanding. I'm so grateful for every listener, every conversation, every message, and every person who continues to walk this healing journey with us. Men and women may never see the world exactly the same way, but understanding begins when we stop trying to win and start trying to learn. Until next season, keep healing, keep growing, and most importantly, keep choosing yourself.